Is Florida State ready to spend NIL like the SEC?
You are Locked On Seminoles, your daily podcast on the Florida State Seminoles. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back into Locked On Seminoles. I am your host, Brian Smith, longtime recruiting analyst and college football writer. Thank you for making Locked On Seminoles your first listen each and every day. Today's show is going to discuss how the Noles have to spend NIL and keep up with the SEC, who is getting its butt kicked in the playoff and in the bowl season. They're going to be mad. They're going to spend some money. Will the Noles match, or will they just kind of go middle of the road? To do that, though, regardless of the money, there's also another factor we're going to get to later in the show. I'm going to talk a little bit about Mike Norvell. Obviously, he messes around and talks to the donors and does the circuit, going to all these functions. But he's also got to be better in home visits, during visits for kids that come to Florida State from the transfer portal on a visit. All of those things are going to be important to seal the deal and make this roster a lot better than it was this past season. So let's dive in right now. Noles 24/7 brought up Rasul Faison, and his visit went well. Really good running back at Utah State. He's a guy that was on campus at Florida State. And now the Noles are in the hunt, but they've got to beat out Bama, Utah, and potentially North Carolina as well. Three schools that can spend some money on NIL. Obviously, a school like Bama certainly has that ability. Carolina is supposedly going to have massive NIL. Utah has it available. I'm not sure if they're going to really spend a lot. We'll see how that goes. But that's a great example of what I was talking about here. Alabama is a program that didn't make the playoff. Their fans are not happy. Their boosters are not happy. They're going to want to pony up and get better at running back. Does Florida State match that? I just want you to think about that for a second. Like, really, not just yes or no. Like, make an educated thought about this. Does Florida State match what Bama will with Faison, assuming they go all in on him, and I assume they will? Do they match it? Because this is a microcosm of what Florida State needs to do in the portal in general. And Faison's a running back. It wouldn't be as big a hit if they missed on him as if they would have missed on one of these offensive linemen, in my opinion. Position need is very, very important with the portal. And Florida State's done well so far, no question. But to truly get over the top, to get back being a bowl team, being a team that can compete for the playoff, you also got to hit the home run with guys that can take it the distance. Faison is one of those guys. He is a playmaker. The Noles could use that. How much are they willing to spend? Because in my opinion, the SEC just got its butt kicked. I mean, they just scored 10 points in a playoff game and lost. They just had several teams on the cusp of making the playoffs, didn't even make it. Tennessee got annihilated. Texas, they should have lost, in my opinion, to Arizona State. They had a big lead and choked it away. Questionable targeting call not going the way of the Arizona State Sun Devils could have ended that. I'm thinking a lot of SEC schools are going to throw out some money. And they've got it. Texas A&M in particular, that's oil money. So when they're both getting into it, we'll see more and more of them along the recruiting trail against the Noles too, once the high school scene catches back up here pretty soon. But that's my first question. The second one I have, how are they going to use it moving forward? Because again, full credit to Florida State staff to this point. They've done a good job. They got 4 guys committed that are offensive linemen that are good. That was really big for the Noles. To do it that quickly is truly shocking. But at the same time, they still have a lot of other positions. And I think based on the playoff and how the bowl season has went, the money is going to go straight north. You're not going to see teams going out here and just we'll pass. There's going to be somebody willing to spend. How much do the Noles really get into it? So the second part, D linemen. We've heard different things about who they're going after. I was talking to a buddy of mine, the school that he covers. They need D linemen. And I said, well, who you guys looking at? He's like, there's nobody to get. We're talking about D tackle specifically. There's no elite D tackle just straight up in the portal. And I kind of looked around, I agree. Somebody like that in particular, when that happens, we'll have an even better bell cow example. Okay, there it is. There's that guy that everybody wants. Will the Noles go out and spend on that? These are really fun questions for me to ask, and I'm kind of curious what everybody else thinks. So drop me a hint if you think there's a couple of things they should look at, or just straight up if you think, you know what, this is definitely what they should do. Doesn't have to be a hint like, yeah, they should kind of lean this way or that one. If you think they should go all in at D tackle to get a number one receiver, whatever it is, to go opposite to do, like they get back to having two number ones. That's why Florida State was so good at 23. They didn't have a number one. They had two. Deuce Robinson is a number one. They can get another one, and you still got Hakeem and those guys. Holy cow. How much are you willing to go in there? Whatever it is, let me know on the YouTube page, Locked On Seminoles. Drop a comment, drop a question, whatever you want to do. I'm happy to check it out. When we come back, I'm going to also talk about sealing the deal. This is something that I've complained about for a long time with Norvell. I don't think he's very good at it. He's going to have to prove me wrong, but I keep hearing good things. And Faison brought it up. He's a really good running back. He had a great visit. They had a plan laid out for him. But can Mike Norvell truly close the deal in big-time recruitments when the Bamas of the world are involved? I don't care if it's the portal. I don't care if it's high school recruiting. Can he seal the deal consistently so Florida State can get back to being a major college football power? That is next on Locked On Seminoles. The NFL playoffs are almost here, but it's not too late to get in on the regular season action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can finish the season strong with $250 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. FanDuel has so many ways for you to pick up a W, like betting on an individual player, not just a game. You can also bet on over-unders with point spreads on like 50 points for a team, 30 points, whatever it may be. College football, sacks. You could be a player getting rushing totals. Whatever it is for you that you would like to check out, FanDuel has the opportunity for you. Just visit FanDuel.com today. That's FanDuel.com for your chance at $250 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. This show is also brought to you by Gametime. The new 12-team college football playoff is an incredible experience, and fans all over the country are getting together like never before. The excitement of past playoff games was a lot of fun, but I've had a lot of new memories with what they've had already. And seeing live games, there's nothing really like that at all. Gametime now has a new feature also called Gametime Picks, so you can help get rid of some of the fluff with all the different ticket prices out there and save you some time with the best ticket price deals right there on the app on your phone in front of you. It filters out everything except for the best deals and the best seats just for you. Recently, I was looking at Gametime Picks and looking at a couple of different NBA games, Atlanta Hawks, Orlando Magic, etc. Instead of looking at the whole stadium and being kind of overwhelmed, this is a great way to do it. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Will Mike Norvell help the Noles seal the deal on some of these big recruitments coming up from the high school ranks and right now, because they've had kids on campus, finish the stuff that they need to with the players in the transfer portal? I mentioned Faison, and I don't want to get into a whole bunch of depth. I'll do that on Friday's show. I'm going to kind of catch up on some stuff. I've been on the road, and I still am. We'll get back to a regular schedule next week, but I'm curious because I'm hearing some positivity around Norvell, and he sounds like he's a great guy. I don't know him, but he's never been considered a quote-unquote recruiter that was elite, not at least since he's at Florida State. The recruiting classes bear that out. So can he get there? Like I asked a few minutes ago, I'd like for people that are on the Locked On Seminoles YouTube page, comment, leave a question, make a comment about it, and a question, whatever you want to do. But why should we believe he's going to get us over the top with any one play? I don't care if it's offense or defense, when they haven't done that and he's been at Florida State for 5 years. What's the reason to believe that now? Squirrel White, the receiver from Tennessee's visit. You got Faison visiting from Utah State. Guys that have a lot of different opportunities. Why would they be better off to come to Florida State and play for Norvell, and how are they being sold by that? Here are a couple of things that I think about it. Number one, he can admit that he didn't get the job done, so he changed coordinators on both sides of the ball. And he also changed receiver coach, etc., to make it work for Florida State. And those aren't easy things to do. I'm sure it's not much fun firing somebody, especially if you've worked with them for several years. That's got to be kind of rough. That being the case, Norvell did it, and he's trying to get things right. Number 2, he brought in proven coaches. Guys, let's just use it as an example. Terrence Knighton, pot roast, as he goes by. That guy's done a really good job with defensive linemen. He played in the NFL several years, so he knows what it looks like because he was one of those guys. And he's also brought in guys that have personalities. Like pot roast's got a big personality. They're getting a better staff around him, so it'll take a little bit off of Norvell's plate. I like that part. That was a very smart move by Mike Norvell and, quite frankly, the Florida State administration for making that happen. Tony White, etc. as well. Finally, another reason I think so, he's on the hot seat. I think Norvell is going to put more effort into talent acquisition, a.k.a. recruiting and the portal. If he doesn't, he won't be around. Again, that's just my opinion, but that's the way I look at this. Florida State knows they have to be much better in 2025 than they were in 24. Fans will stop coming. The donations will dry up. That's how this works, not just at Florida State, but at any major college football program. Therefore, I think Norvell will go all in this offseason, probably expend as much, if not more, energy on talent acquisition than at any point of his college football coaching career. It better be, because they have so many things they still need to fill out to get to where they need. And it's, again, as I noted earlier in the show, it's only going to get harder, not easier, because the SEC has floundered since the end of the regular season onward. Those schools are not going to be happy about losing. They're going to spend $1 gazillion on NIL. He's also got to find a way to get the boosters to give him money to compete with that and still get the right guys that aren't going to mess up the roster. We talk about that a lot here on the show too. All of that, not any one part of it. He has to hit a home run across the board. Tomorrow, we're going to talk a little bit about the ability for Florida State to kind of finish on a few of the guys. I'm going to talk about a little more of what I've heard, some things that I think could help if they get some of the guys that have been visiting the last few days and have some fun with it. Until then, everybody have a good one. I will talk to you soon. Take care.